Good morning, everyone. Oh, not morning where you're at? That's okay, because you can have eggs for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Welcome to episode 18 of Three Eggs Are Better Than One. I am Brad Stanton, along with my fellow eggs, Matt M. and Brian Hremza. I hope you guys enjoyed the last episode where Matt basically does what he does every week, complains about things. But we're going to do a lot less complaining this week, or are we? What's your sunny side up of the week this week, Bryant?
Well, for me, my sunny side up is actually going to be an announcement for my fellow eggs as well. I just recently had to apply for a job and I was able to get my new job at work. So, got that in news today, actually, as I was before we started recording here. So, peek behind the curtain, it's a Thursday when we're recording here. So, I just had a meeting, got a phone call with them about an hour ago and got a nice promotion with this. So, that is nice. Been sweating out a little bit behind the scenes, kind of about what was going to happen with my job. So nice to finally have some closure, know what's going on, and can move forward with it. So that is my sunny side up.
Awesome.
Congratulations. Happy to
Awesome.
hear it. I know it was weighing on you. I know you 98% sure you had it, but
Yeah, it's one of those where you have it, but there's always that doubt of like, could there be a chance? And I live on those 2% chances a lot. So
don't we all?
yeah,
Optimism is not our strong point, our strong
no,
suit.
no, not at all.
What do you
That's
got this week, Matt?
that's great. I'm happy to hear that. That's awesome. And yeah, he's this is a true reveal on the show, right? We did not know
Mm.
ahead of time.
I wanted to surprise you guys on the show here. So
That's good. That's good. My sunny side up is this week I am celebrating Powerful Butt Cheeks. Yes, that's right. Ben Kenny's new album has finally come out this week, and it's fantastic. Little reminder, former bass player for Incubus, former guitar player for The Roots, sings, plays the drums, all the guitars, does all the parts. A couple years ago, had a brain tumor removed, had to leave Incubus. Didn't hear from him for a few years. He lost his hearing in one ear. This is a musician losing their hearing. Made a comeback, put out a new album. It's fantastic. I would recommend it to anybody who likes alt rock sort of 90s type of music. And it's really been a happy thing for me this week. Brad's shaking his head. One more thing, and this should interest you guys. Maybe you saw it in the news yourself the last couple days. Steven Spielberg is making an untitled film, the yet to be titled film. It's some sort of event film, which I think usually means like something apocalyptic happens. But they're shooting scenes at a theater in Long Island, and apparently it was wrestling related. They had called in extras to be the crowd for a wrestling scene. And of course, no other details have come out besides that. The movie stars Emily Blunt and Colin Firth, and is scheduled to come out in June of 2026. So is it one wrestling scene? Is it more about wrestling? Obviously, Steven Spielberg is a well-respected, established director. Maybe that'll be something good for us.
Those sound good. Speaking of, I wanted to mention this that as we record this tonight and tomorrow, Queen of the Ring comes out. Does anybody have any plans of seeing that?
I do, but I will be going by myself. Sue is not real intrigued in this story. I did get her to go to the Iron Claw just because of I kind of gave her the background of that, but this one does not intrigue her as much. But I will be going to see it, yes.
Matt?
I will certainly see the movie. I don't see myself going to the theater for it. Doesn't take very long for movies to get to streaming services these days. So I'm not going to run out for it, I don't think.
I would like to see it in the theater just to support it as a wrestling film because I know that past records have indicated they don't do too well. Even I think one of the most popular one was the Iron Claw. I think that was one of the, but it's still not a blockbuster in any way.
No.
How can you
to see it.
disrespect Ready to Rumble like that? I mean, come on.
I did see that in the theater as well.
Oh, wow.
But I still think one of my favorite wrestling scenes of all time is the Macho Man Randy Savage and Spider-Man.
Yes.
Bonesaw.
Yes.
I like the wrestler. That was a
Oh
good...
yeah.
Oh, the wrestler was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true. I didn't even think of that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to support this movie. My wife actually was watching the preview and she asked, "What is this?" And then I'm like, what do you mean?" So how exciting for me that maybe she wants to go to the theater and see it.
Oh, we better
Oh,
go watch and
Yeah,
find.
yeah, I'm pretty
yeah.
sure it starts in about 15 minutes.
Yes.
Not that I would know. All right, so that comes to me, which is this is going to be a combination of sunny side up, hard boiled, which is not going to be either. Last week I spoke about our new dog Albert. Albert is a foster and was missing a leg, and we were pretty happy to have him in the house. Last or yeah, it was Tuesday. So you're hearing this on Monday, so it's been almost a week. Uh, Something snapped inside of Albert, and he attacked my wife in front of me. It was kind of quick. I didn't really know what was going on right away. He got a hold of her somehow, and she was screaming and screaming and screaming, and all of a sudden I saw blood everywhere. He had a hold of her arm and was attacking her. I don't remember much else, and some of this is actually hearsay because my wife actually watched all this back on the Ring app, and apparently, and I'm not. This is not a toot my own horn situation because I don't even remember. But apparently, I threw Albert off of her, and then he did bite. I remember him biting me in the leg, and I do have a mark from that, but it's nothing compared to what she has. And my daughter Lotus, who's home from college, was banging on his crate just to try to get his attention, and we were screaming at Deb. It's Deb, sorry, to run up the stairs, and she did. And we had Albert surrounded at that point, and then I don't know what happened. He went from that red to normal, and went into his crate. Blood everywhere. Had to take her to the emergency room. We were there for probably about 4 hours. While I'm there, I'm on the phone with animal control, and also the rescue we got her from. Nothing they could do that night, which is also very nerve-wracking. That nobody can do anything, and I have this animal in my house that almost would have surely killed my wife if we wouldn't have been there. Um, she got several stitches in her, they call them sutures, just so you know the medical term, in her arm and in her fingers, very, very close to a tendon. Did not get the tendon, but we did bring down an orthopedic to look at it to make sure that the tendon wasn't hit because it was that close, and that would have been surgery. He did get her face too, but it's just looks more like a big cold sore, so she's okay there. Um, and her leg, but yeah, she is not able to go back to work until Monday. Her hands are completely wrapped up, and she's in a lot of pain. We got home 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and Albert was in his crate. I sent the other dogs in the house upstairs with her and Lotus, and then I stayed downstairs with him. I did let him out. I don't know why. I felt no fear of him in the situation. Whatever the trigger was, it might have something to do with our other dogs or food. And then the next day, by 2 o'clock, I had him at a shelter, and unfortunately, he is going to be put down. Because it is going to happen again. As lovable as he was, as good as a dog as I thought he was, there were some signs I saw that something could happen. I didn't know for sure, but there's a trigger in him he'll go off again. I mean, this was only 8 days into it, and he went off like that. It's going to happen again. So it's unfortunate that that happened. Life does go on, but it was very, very rough few days for all of us. I mean, my wife's, just, this is traumatic. It was traumatic for Lotus, traumatic for me. And then to have to deal with putting down a dog is also traumatic. And it's sad also because the dog doesn't even seem like it knows what happened. But that is my sunny side up, hard boiled, whatever you want to call it. It's actually pretty much a rotten egg, I guess. Not to jump on your topic today, Bryant, but probably one of the worst things I've ever been through. And I've been through some stuff. So you try to do something good. You think we wanted to help this dog. We really did. And just didn't work out. So I just like to tell everybody what's going on. It helps me therapy on my end as well. So I know
Were
you
there
guys
any
already know about it.
were there any issues with the other dogs as well, or is it just this kind of one incident? Like just kind of
So I have a beagle, and I have for everybody at home that doesn't know, I have a blue tick coonhound uh pit mix. Okay. And my beagle would, like, if they're like, he was a very playful dog, Albert. Like, he wanted to play. He was a puppy in mind. Like, he probably hasn't had much of a life. but my beagle wanted no part of him, and he would just kind of growl at him, and he would go away. But then they would sit next to each other. They'd lay next to each other. They'd look out the window together, stuff like that. But he didn't want any part of whatever nonsense. Now there was some play fighting with him and my other dog, and I think that's probably not a good dynamic. Two bigger dogs like that in the house. Now my other, she's not violent, but there was something about her to him that he would start trouble, and then it just finally got out of hand. And when he started getting like that, she just ran up the stairs. She wanted no part of that. She's not a fighter. And I know there's a lot of pit bull love out there. And you know, I, I love all dogs, but what everybody's got to be cautious is that pretty much a lot of dogs have aggression. Doesn't matter how small or big they are, they all have some aggression. However, when a Chihuahua bites you, you're laughing it off. When a Beagle bites you, you're laughing it off. When a Pit Bull bites you, he has the strongest teeth and he has a strong body. And whether or not he's a good dog 99% of the time, like every dog is, that one time it could happen. So just gotta be careful. And I'm not putting down Pit Bull owners. I am one. But they have big teeth. They are strong. So if you have a bad moment, look out. That's all. That's it. I don't know how much more you want to talk about this.
Yeah, I
Good.
think
Well,
we
I
can.
just want to, I haven't said anything. I just want to say I'm very sorry. Of course, this was serious enough that you told us a little bit about it offline before now.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't know certain details. I actually didn't even know you were there. And I didn't know your daughter was there either. So it sounds like it's a pretty good thing you guys were there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Wow.
Definitely. Which brings us, Matt, to new topic alert.
New topic alert.
Raw eggs.
Raw eggs. What is raw eggs? Raw eggs was a category that we left undefined since the origin of the show because we simply didn't know what to fill the category with until it dawned on me. It should be an undefined category, undeclared, a free-form topic. I have been trying to fit in this meaningless topic for a few weeks, and here's the opportunity. Bryant, please prepare a couple of images, not just yet. It starts with the question. It starts with the question, do you guys know what an axolotl is?
I
No.
do not.
Brad shaking his head. No. Bryant. Okay, we've got two no's. If you would have asked me 6 months ago, you would have had three no's. Axolotl. Axolotl. This is an actual living thing that exists. An axolotl is an aquatic salamander that originates from Mexico. It is a carnivorous being and eats small prey such as insects and fish. Brian, if you could show the real image, please. There you go. Kind of weird looking.
Very.
Now, while doing this research, and the reason why this is even a topic I'll get to, but I learned axolotls have a unique healing ability. They could regenerate entire lost limbs and even internal tissues such as parts of the heart, eyes, and central nervous system. I mean, that's kind of mind-blowing. I feel like I've heard that like if you cut off one of the fingers of a starfish, it'll grow back, but like, most living things stuff doesn't grow back, right? So that kind of blew my mind. When I first heard this word in the past couple months, I thought it was some sort of fabricated mythical creature, like a unicorn. But oh no, it's a real living thing. Although it is nearing extinction, 5 years ago, scientists estimated that there's somewhere between only 50 and 1,000 adult axolotls left in the world. Nowadays, you often see axolotls represented in a cute, cartoonish fashion. Bryant, if you could just go to the next slide. That's my son's Stuffy. He has a stuffed axolotl. Also, we were in a store recently, and there were the coin-operated gumball machine type of things, and some of them have the little plastic cases with the little junk toys inside, and one of them was filled with axolotls. Where have these axolotls come from? It's like it's not like they're new to the Earth. In fact, we're just talking about how they're almost gone from the Earth, but their popularity is new. It's kind of like a sloth. Like I feel like a sloth has been around forever, but it's only been like the past decade where like, oh, sloths are cool. Now everybody knows what a sloth is, and they know what a sloth looks like, and they know, and they're stuffed sloths. Where did this popularity come from? I had no idea until my son informed me. It's in Minecraft.
Hmm.
It's in Fortnite. Now, I don't know what is it. Does it have something to do with this regenerative quality, and that has something to do with the gameplay? I don't know. But everywhere, I promise you, in the next 10 days of your life, you're going to encounter an axolotl in some fashion. Because now that I've planted the seed, you're going to be like, oh yeah, there's like a poster with one on it or something. So raw egg right there. That can't fit
That
that into any other category.
I could have had 800,000 guesses, and that would not have been one.
It's not even a word that sounds like the name of an animal.
Yeah.
Lion, tiger, bear,
A mullet.
axolotl.
I've never seen one until you had sent me the pictures for this, and I wanted to respond with, "What the hell is this?"
Mhm.
But I was like, "No, it's for the show. I'm gonna learn." But yeah, I would never have known this.
I've been wanting to bring it up.
For how long?
I mean, it probably dawned on me like 4 or 5 episodes ago that because I kept encountering it in my life unwillingly, that it was worth mentioning to see if anyone else had that experience. I would love to hear from some listeners. You guys obviously you have no clue.
Yeah.
None.
Are there any listeners out there who maybe you know it because of your children and you have a young child, children like myself? There's cartoons, there's stuffies, there's toys. That's the image that you showed of our stuffy here. That's not even the only one in the house. They're everywhere. There's more fake ones than there are real ones.
I want to know your son's reaction when you're like, "I needed to borrow this for a picture. Like, can I take this for a picture, please?"
He was at school when I took the picture.
Smart.
All right. Well, that's a
Yeah.
great start to raw eggs. Thank you
Relax.
so
They
much,
beautiful.
Matt M. And guess what now? New topic alert.
Top of what? How is it possible in episode 18? I really think it just speaks so poorly of our previous topics.
Knock on eggs. Now, what is knock on eggs? Superstitions. What superstitions do we have? Bryant, what do you got?
Oh, well, you've come to the right place for this. So, as a youth, and as probably mentioned, boringly enough to everyone, I was in wrestling. And as a youth, I decided that I was not very good. And then all of a sudden I started winning. And when I'd win, there was a certain uniform I would always go for. I had to wear the same socks and the same color underwear because to me, that was the luck I needed to win. Every tournament, no matter where I was, same colored underwear, same pair of socks, every tournament, every week, basically until I hit high school. So that's from ages 5 to 15. I had the same routine. I had the same warm up routine, had the same, wore the same, like I said, and I did it every time. Couldn't change my
So
habit.
you did wash them or no?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm not disgusting like that, but
Well, I've heard other things.
yes,
I
this is true.
think because I believe I remember that from Ace Ventura that I have a quarterback that has not changed his jockey strap in 10 years because he thinks flies are lucky.
Yes, that is true. But yes, no, I am, as a child, my mother would not let me just do that. So, as a tie in story to this, at one national tournament I went to, I did weigh ins and I weighed in a different color underwear. Didn't have a gray one to switch into and made my parents drive all the way back to our hotel to get me the correct color because I thought if I didn't have them, I would lose.
Matt, you're taking notes.
Sometimes I do, as you know.
So what do you have to add to this?
Yeah.
Um, I'm surprised. This is not what I was expecting. I was
That's a
expecting
superstition. Am I wrong?
No,
Yeah.
no, no, it sure is. I was expecting more of a neuroticism type of stuff, like with like you got to close the door 3 times or flip the light switch a couple times, that sort of thing.
Well, all right. Well, then we'll get to me.
Well, is that it? Was that it for Bryant?
Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
All
Yeah.
right.
Brad,
Yeah. So I
And
had
also,
just
I am a little disgusted.
you're welcome.
I had heard about this superstition about 5 years ago, and now I can't get it out of my head. So the superstition is this: if you leave your house in a car and you have a destination in mind, you're going somewhere, which is all the time, right? Maybe I'm going to work. Let's just say I'm going to work, and I forgot something, and you have to go back to the house. It is bad luck if you go back to the house and get what you need. If you do not make an adjustment to your hair in the mirror before you leave again. So when you go back into the house, you have to do something to make yourself look better, or it is bad luck. Here's the problem with that: I don't have any hair. So now I have left my lunch. I have left um, anything. I have left my backpack, and I sit there and I think, whatever bad luck I'm going to have, is it worth it to go back to the house? Because I can't do the hair thing. So I will sometimes just go to work without my lunch because I'm not going to go back to the house and have any kind of bad luck. Is that is that what you've been looking for, Matt?
There's Oh my God, there's so much to unpack. Okay, first of all, I have never heard of that.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't.
Bryant, have you heard
Hopefully,
of
you don't
that?
take it too
I
seriously.
I've never heard of this either.
Okay, I have never heard of that. Obviously, you weren't even done uttering the sentence, and I was like, well, then you're in trouble, Mr. No Hair.
Right.
Um, but I mean, does it have to be the hair on the top of your head? You have facial hair.
So I've done that, and I don't know if it worked or not.
You're being honest to God, swear on the Bible in a courtroom that you have chosen to not go back to get the lunch because of the luck factor.
On my 100%
What?
yes.
That's
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 insane.
that's why that's
If
why.
this is true, then I will have the worst luck in the world. Do you know how many times I have to come back to my house to get like my laptop or my earbuds or something? I'll drive down the street and come back all the way around and just grab it.
Yeah,
Once,
that's
never once touched my hair.
you don't know though what kind of days did you have with that?
Ugh. He's oh my God.
You don't
Well,
know because you didn't know it was
no,
bad luck.
that's
Now you
true.
know.
I mean, that's a good point. Yeah. It could have been bad luck for me and I just didn't notice it.
So that's mine.
This is great. I'm really enjoying soaking this one in.
Yeah.
I want to add to this, and this is not really a superstitious thing, but you made me think of it, so I'll talk about it. I believe that we as humans, when we are more likely to like make a mistake or screw something up or do a bad job or get into an accident or something when we're in moments like that. You have a routine, you have a plan in your head, you have muscle memory. You do this, you do this, you do this, you grab your keys, you grab your lunch, you go to work, and it's all a routine. And something bad could happen, but it's all a routine. Your mindset is clear. But you forgot something. You got to go back. Now your mind took a hard left turn that it wasn't planning on making, and now your conscious self is battling your unconscious self, and that's when you forget your keys inside the house and lock you lock yourself out or something, you make a turn down a street to get back that you don't normally turn down and you run something over, you know. I find in life that the bad moments like that are more likely to happen when you go off course without planning for it. If that
Like
makes
doing a
that
three
makes
like doing a 3-point turn to go back to your house in the middle of the street. All of a sudden now you accidentally hit something, or you're out of
yeah.
you're out of sync.
You're right, and I don't mean just the physical part of it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's because your attention is not where your brain thought it was going to be in that moment.
correct.
You know,
Agreed.
like like This is and also like this is me being neurotic. Like, let's say my kid's got a practice for a soccer practice or something, and we get home and we realize we forgot his water bottle or something, and I don't want to leave it. So like, all right, you guys go in the house, I'll go back and get it. That's the moment where something bad's gonna happen because you want to be home. This extra mission is not what your brain was counting on. You know, that 9 minute trip, your attention is not where it should have been. And that's when something happens. That's when you go too fast and get pulled over, or that's when you take the wrong turn and you hit something, you know?
Yep,
I hope it makes sense.
it does. Well, what's your superstition, Matt?
So, despite me, I think, being the suggester of this category, and despite me being a pretty neurotic person at times,
What?
I am what? I am actually not a very superstitious person. I'm not really a luck believer kind of guy, but I do have one that I abide by, and it's not a big deal or anything. And it's also kind of extinct because of the digital age. Um, but mine is related to calendars. So in our house, we have like a hanging wall calendar, shows the month ends, you flip the big page over for the next month. Also, I have at my desk, hopefully you can see this. It's
Yeah,
like
it's right there.
it's like one of those page a day calendars. This one happens to be New York Yankees like trivia. So traditionally, my sister usually gets me that's one of the Christmas gifts. She'll get me like one of those page a day calendars because she knows I have an office and a desk, and that's like a classic desk item. So my superstition is I don't ever skip ahead or look ahead or tear a page early or turn a page early. I just think that's you're asking for it if you do that. Who are you to look at that next day that you haven't earned yet? You have not gotten to that day, sir. Don't you tempt fate. So that is my like almost one and only superstition that I have.
Who are you, sir? Well, the one that bought it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
What?
The one that bought the calendar.
They
Do
didn't
whatever I
look through
want
the
with it. If I
calendar.
want it to be, who's to say that's the real day anyway?
Okay. Now I have one
No,
other
I don't do that either. I don't look ahead either.
I have one other thing. Um, and this is was brought on when I was on a recent vacation that we mentioned. And my hotel did not have a 13th floor.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It went from 12 to 14. So I thought, I've heard of this before. We've all heard of this before. Let me look up some facts. Triskaidekaphobia, the fear or avoidance of the number 13. Now, you could read pages and pages and books on this, but I pulled out a couple of what I thought was noteworthy things. It is the reason for the fear of Friday the 13th. They think they date this all the way back to the 1400s. Tarot cards, tarot cards. 13 the death card was number 13, so people didn't like that. In the 1700s, they thought if 13 people were sitting at a table, one of them would have to die within a year. In religious beliefs, Judas was the 13th person sitting at the last supper table. That was an issue I heard. Apollo 13, the aborted moon landing mission in 1970. So, maybe we're cherry picking our beliefs here, but there's a lot of negative 13s. Cruise ships that have a lot of decks, they typically don't have a 13th floor. And we were actually staying
Yeah.
on the 14th floor, and my son pointed out on the elevator buttons there was no 13, and we had to talk about it. And I looked it up, and I thought it was pretty interesting. And I think that's probably what led to the formation of this knock on eggs category.
Here's my issue with the whole 14th floor. It is still the 13th floor.
Yeah.
You can name it whatever you want. It's still the 13th floor.
Right. That is correct. Um, I
That
was.
is that is for people. That is for it's
Hmm.
the 13th floor.
Hmm. It is a, I do think it's a bit of an outdated thing. I'm not sure it's upheld too much these days. And also to combat what you just said, though, there are buildings who will have a 12th floor and then a 13th floor and the 14th floor, but the 12th or the 13th floor won't be called that. It'll be called like M for maintenance,
Very good.
you know? So that, you know, that physical piece of geography is there. They just don't ever refer to it as the 13th floor.
All right.
Knock on eggs.
Very good. You got anything to add to that, Bryant?
No, I love it. I mean, it's fantastic stuff.
All right, so that brings us to the omelet of the week. And the omelet of the week this week is my turn, and it is birthdays, which is a very, very simple topic, right? So, what is a birthday? Very simple. The day that you are born is your birthday. That's the day you were born. So, how did it even start? Well, the ancient Egyptians are believed to be the first to celebrate birthdays around 3000 BC. They celebrated the coronation of pharaohs as their birth into godhood. The Greeks later adopted a tradition celebrating the birthdays of their gods and goddesses. So, what are some important birthdays? Well, how about one? Your first birthday. That's an important birthday for everyone except for the person you're celebrating, right? Because they don't have a clue really what's going on except that everybody's having a good time. What's another important birthday? 10, double digits. That's a cool one. 13. Welcome to teenage years, bar mitzvahs. 16. Driving, sweet 16 for the ladies. 18. You're an adult for some things. You can go to war. You can't smoke cigarettes. You can't drink beer. And you can't vote, or you can vote at 18. Yeah. 21. Now, how many shots did you guys do on your 21st birthday? Go ahead.
I don't remember. I don't think I did shots. I was definitely drinking.
No?
I did way more than I needed and was literally carried from the bar by two people.
Huh. I did 21. I think the last two were called dog piss, which is were just was just beer. Uh, but I for the only time ever in my life I was knocked out completely.
Mhm.
Um so then you have 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. I would say those are the most important birthdays. So let's just get into it. And I have a lot here. Brian and Matt, and you can go first. Do you remember a favorite birthday?
Hmm. A favorite birthday. Maybe wish I had known this question was coming.
Well,
So
you know that we were talking about birthdays.
yeah, while Matt hims and haws over there, um, for me, I'm gonna actually say it was my 16th birthday. Only because I was a I just gone into my junior year of high school and I got my first car, which was a 1985 Dodge Diplomat. I'll never forget that car. And it was the first time I really had a sense of freedom. Like obviously I'm still on, I'm still at home, I'm still going to school, but it was that first chance of like you have that open road a little bit. I could drive, I could go do things on my own. I didn't have to rely on my mom and dad or my brother to get me around. It was I could go do something and I had that freedom. I could go hang out with my friends, go do something. And to me, that's one that always kind of resonated with me of like that coolness a little bit.
Awesome.
What age did you say that was?
16.
Yeah, see, I wanted to discuss this. If we may have a sidebar, um, the driving age is not uniform across the country. So I got my formal driver's license when I turned 17 in New Jersey. We got at 16 we would get a permit.
Mm-hmm.
Actually it might have been 16 and a half.
Yeah.
And at 17 you got your license. It's different. It's different now. It has been for a long time. At certain age you get a provisional license, which is You're not allowed to drive like after a certain time at night.
Hmm?
And if you have more than one person in the car, they have to be family members. That did not exist when I was a new driver. But I do know in other parts of the country where it's like you're only going to run into a fucking cornfield that they give you your license earlier.
Yeah, we got learner's permits at 15,
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
and
we
then
no way.
you'd get your standard license at 16, and
Think
then you
about
get
how
your
insane that 15?
yeah.
15-year-olds drive cars? Oh my God.
Well, a
Oh,
12-year-old's allowed to shoot a deer, so whatever.
I'll throw this in there. We our county would give school permits. So like if you lived so far outside of the city, they would give you a permit to drive in. You could be 13 to get your permit to drive into school.
Hmm.
All right, Matt, what's your favorite birthday?
All
Back on
right.
track.
Yeah. So I can't say I remember the age, unfortunately. Fourth grade, what is that? How old am I there?
10.
10-ish. My dad put together like a pretty cool party in like our backyard. It was like a scavenger hunt. That's the word. It was like I was gonna say treasure hunt. It was like a scavenger hunt. All my friends had like a list of objects they had to find, and there was like various games and activities, and like he designed the whole thing. It was like really cool. And we also had a basketball hoop, so there was like a big game of horse or something like that. I remember that being pretty fun, and I thought it was pretty special because my dad sort of thought it up for me. At another birthday where we went to the movies, I could tell you what movie we saw.
Rocky 4.
Nope.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky and Bullwinkle Take New
It
York.
was no Rocky and it was no horror. It was Drop Dead Fred.
Oh, awful.
I want to say I feel sorry for you, but I had to be fun still.
So my birthday is, and it's spring, and so it's always nice, and it's always a busy time of year. And a lot of times, the final horse race in the Triple Crown is that day, which is the Belmont. So whenever it falls on like that Saturday or whatever, the Belmont Stakes occurs on that day. And there's been enough times in my life where like I've been at some sort of like a nice barbecue or public gathering or something, and some horse is going for the Triple Crown, and it's kind of cool because like everybody's already together because like it's your birthday. So that's happened a few times.
Does anybody remember a cake that was really special that was decorated a certain way that you really loved when you were a kid?
I will go since Matt can never clearly come up has trouble remembering some of his dates. For me, it was I want to say it was my 8th birthday because my mom made a cake and made it kind of a wrestling ring. So like licorice ropes, and then put like, and I always remember it because she put like a one of my Brett action figures in the cake, and then oddly enough, and I still don't know why, a Scott Steiner action figure in it. But that was, and then she just stuck him in there, and that was part of the cake because it's a wrestling ring.
That's pretty awesome. Do you have any photos of that?
I do, and I wish I would have known. I
Another
wish
another
I will bring them. I will bring
yeah,
them for next time.
yeah,
I'll tie them in when I do the editing for this video.
there you go. Add it
And
in
we'll cut
post.
this all out.
Add it. No, leave it in and add it in post. Yeah, it's good.
Did you come up with anything yet, Matt? Or are we moving on?
I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed in myself because I have a very strong memory, and
Hmm.
I think people who know me well would agree. And I'm just not coming up with anything. I mean, I I don't want to put it this way, really, but maybe I just didn't have super extravagant birthdays. I mean, I definitely had. I always had a birthday party.
Mhm.
I'm just not. Nothing's clicking.
All
Nothing's
right. So for me, my aunts, my on my dad's side and my mom's side, both were pretty artistic and also great bakers. And I remember one year specifically, I had a Sesame Street cake, but it just wasn't the cake itself. They had the cookies, like these sugar type cookies that were like Cookie Monster, and it was all set up like in 3D, like you know what I mean, and it was just so well done. And I still remember like how good of a job they did. And we didn't get it professionally done. They were the professionals, which is
Yeah.
so nice. And I remember that cake. My favorite gift I ever got, when I was younger, I was my 16th birthday. My parents bought me a trip to California to visit my it's my dad's sisters. My dad's sister, she has three boys. And one was my age, one was a year older, one was a year younger. So I got to hang out with them, and that was great. Um, I also remember going to what was called the Nickelodeon when I was a kid, and my whole class went, and it was like a player piano, and it was an ice cream bar, and like where you went up there, like they had the hat on and everything like that. I think Dominic D'Angelo wears it all the time on socials. It kind of looked like that, Brian, if you remember. In
I do, yeah.
yeah, Matt. Um, I had surprise birthdays for my 30th and my, for some reason, Deb threw me one for my 37th. Well, that was a surprise for sure, because why would you do that? So that was some of my stuff. Just so everybody knows, the most common birthday is September 16th. More people are born on September 16th than any other day. I have no reason to give you for that. The least common birthday. Now, I know you guys know the answer to this.
Wait a minute. Isn't September 9 months after New Year's Eve?
All right.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. Look at you. I mean, I guess so. Bring it in with a
Ish.
bang, right? Uh,
Ish.
and the least common birthday. What is it,
Oh,
guys? It's real easy.
it's February 29th.
Correct. 100% correct. Leap years, leap year babies.
That's got to be a shit birthday.
Well, not as shit as December 25th, is it?
That's pretty bad.
Because it's just an extra present. That is the least popular birthday.
Yeah.
Some of the people born on our birthdays. For me, I was born January 30th, 1976. Becky Lynch, seven-time World WWE champion, NXT champion, tag team champion, Royal Rumble winner, the man married to Seth Rollins. Phil Collins, January 30th, 1951. Born and raised in London, England. Sung great songs like Follow Me, many songs like Another Day in Paradise, Studio, and In the Air Tonight. Lead singer of Genesis.
What does that even mean? What is Studio?
Nothing.
Well, if we had time, I would get into it.
Oh, okay.
Christian Bale, January 30th, 1974, born in England, actor, known for The Dark Knight, American Psycho, The Fighter, American Hustle, and of course,
He was born in England?
Yeah.
I thought he was Welsh.
Oh, sorry. Dick Cheney, January 30th, 1941, from Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
White House Chief of Staff, U.S. House of Representative from Wyoming, Secretary of State, and VP of the United States under George Bush. And finally, and this is not finally, actually, because there's many, many more. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, January 30th, 1882, 32nd president, 12 years as president, because it was World War II and you didn't change presidents during wartime, apparently. In a wheelchair. And I do have an alternate, Gene Hackman, because it just happened. January 30th, 1930th. But what else do we have here? Oh, we have August 13th, 1989. Who's that? That is Bryant. So who's your wrestler? Can you name him?
My wrestler?
No. Yeah, who's your wrestler on your birthday? Because your birthday sucks.
It does. Yeah. You're telling me. You're telling me.
Spike Dudley.
All right.
August 13th, 1970. Also known as Matthew Hyson. 7-time WWE Hardcore Champion, Cruiserweight, European Tag Team Champion with Taz. 2-time ECW Champion and member of the legendary Dudley family. So that's the only wrestler I could find, Brian.
That's perfect. Works for me.
Hang on. 2-time ECW, not heavyweight champion.
I'm not even sure.
Tag team champion.
Tag team.
Yeah, that's what I wrote.
Yeah.
Alfred Hitchcock, August 13th, 1899. Famous director. The number 13, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Psycho. Dial M for Murder. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And The Birds. And of course, a lot more. We know that. Betsy King, August 13, 1955, professional golfer, 2-time U.S. Open, 1992 Women's PGA champion, and several-time Player of the Year. Fidel Castro.
Yeah!
August 13th, 1926, President of Cuba from 1976 to 2008. Socialist Marcus Lenin. That's what he says. We know what it is. Finally, Don Ho. August 13th, 1930. Hawaiian pop musician. Who did I forget? I don't know, Brian. Who did I forget? Can you think of anybody that's born on your birthday? Because your
No,
birthday was really tough.
I am more impressed you got this far.
That's a shit birthday.
Oh, it is. It really is.
But then we have Matt M., born January 7th, 1982, a spring birthday, as he mentioned earlier.
June.
What'd I say? June.
January.
You said January.
June 7th, 1982. Sorry. Mick Foley is your wrestler.
I knew that. I knew that.
June 7th, 1965. We call him the hardcore legend. Three faces of Foley, Dude Love, Mankind, and Cactus Jack. TNA World Heavyweight Champion, WCW Tag Team Champion, three-time WWF Champion, Hardcore Champion, eight-time Tag Team Champion, Hell in a Cell, Machine, author, actor, and all-around good dude.
Mm-hmm.
How about Allen Iverson?
Oh.
June 7th, 1975, basketball player for the Philadelphia 76ers. Georgetown standout, very controversial guy, 11-time All-Star, four-time scoring champ, and 2001 MVP. Practice? We're talking about practice? Dean Martin, June 7th, 1917, actor, singer, comedian, member of the legendary Rat Pack, the King of Cool. Him and Jerry Lewis, Martin and Lewis, movie icon. And finally, no, we got two more. June 7th, 1996, Christian McCaffrey, football player, running back, Carolina and San Francisco, all-around tremendous player, Stanford graduate, wish he could just stay healthy, Pro Bowler, NFL Player of the Year. Finally, and there's more. We know there's more, but this is the highlights. Liam Neeson. June 7th, 1952. Great movies such as Gangs of New York, Taken, Star Wars Episode 1 and 2, Batman Begins, The 18, and on and on and on. Guys, that is it. That is it for birthdays. I hope you had a good time. Anything to add? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
I have notes.
Of course you do.
First of all, I have an immediate correction. Nobody thinks Star Wars 1 is a good movie, so you can't refer to it as such.
His character, though.
He did appear in the movie. Christian Bale looked it up. He was, in fact, born in Wales.
Gotta prove yourself right. Okay.
It says his parents were English. I mean, I don't know. I can't go and explain England, the UK, that whole thing.
Yeah, you have an opinion.
I mean,
what's that?
But yet you have an opinion. Yet you can explain anything. Good.
I thought he was born in Wales, and he was born in Wales. So there you go.
Born in Wales.
That is a different country than England. I know they are both part of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
They want to unite and be a kingdom. Okay. I love that you print your stuff out, as I've mentioned before. Allen Iverson, I did not know that. You should have mentioned he was the #1 overall draft pick in the 1996 NBA draft, which I attended in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And I do remember what my parents got me for my 21st birthday. And Bryant, you're going to like this. My dad got me a set of golf clubs.
Hey, all right.
So that was a nice gift. I wasn't expecting it. I'm not a big golfer, but I have golfed with them, and I still have them.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, I hope you guys had a little fun with that. Something a little lighter this week.
Of course.
Which brings us to fried eggs. And if you don't remember what fried eggs is, it's fads in and out. So, Bryant, what do you got?
Well, mine I get to thank my mother for. She was cleaning out her shed recently and decided to send me some pictures of this tote. And I'm like, what the hell? What's in the tote? Sends me the next picture, and it is full of Beanie Babies. She had kept all the Beanie Babies that I had convinced her to buy in my youth. All of these Beanie Babies that are, I'm assuming, worth maybe $2 at this point. But I mean, seeing the picture reminded me of just how much I loved them. And I mean, any one of them I would buy. And I always looked for, to Brad's point, the one that had my birthday. Because I thought that's what made it more special, because we would share a birthday with the Beanie Babies. Because they would always give them birthdays for everything. So just going through that, I did drive over and rummaged through the tote a little bit, and naturally I told her to donate them all. But seeing all those just brought back a lot of memories of just kind of playing with them, and like then you get the rare one, you got to put it up on the shelf because it could be worth money someday. And so it was nice to see those.
This is so connected to you being a wrestling fan and a collector.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much so. It started it really. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a Bryant category.
Yes.
And it's not a good Matt category. I do remember the Beanie Baby craze.
Oh, it was huge.
I might have had
Everybody.
one or two. I feel like there was a connection to McDonald's at some point where
They
that,
did do several promotions with them
yeah,
as well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I probably shouldn't trample on other opportunities to talk about this stuff, but I did have a couple troll dolls, and I feel like that's a very similar era and feel as the Beanie Babies.
Close. Yeah.
I don't think Beanie Baby people would feel that way.
No, not at all. No, it's similar in fad of like phenomenon, but nothing close to what they were together. You don't compare the two.
I wasn't ranking, guys,
Well,
England and Wales here.
well, so for me, I had something written down and I changed it last minute. So what is a fad? A fad is a lot of different things. As everybody knows, I've mentioned that I am dry for a little while here and trying to be a little healthier. So what's a fad? There's a lot of fads out there for diets. Let's talk about some of these fads. How about Deal a Meal? Does anybody remember Deal a Meal, where you actually were dealt the cards you were supposed to eat and make those foods?
No,
The
it sounds
South Beach
terrible.
diet, which was
Yeah.
is a low carb diet. I still think there's variations of it today that are still used, but it was really hot at the time. The South Beach
Mm.
diet, which is also considered, was also a spin-off, if you will, of the Atkins diet, I would say, which is also still around, but it may be in a different way. It probably isn't healthy to just eat non-carb food all the time. You know what I
He died
mean?
from a heart attack, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Carnivore diet, which is totally meat only. Okay. No cholesterol at all in any of that, huh?
Yeah.
Keto diet. Now we have the Jesus diet. The Jesus diet is actually eating Bible foods.
Oh,
You're gonna just say drinking wine.
It's not
bread
bad.
and wine. That's good.
Apple cider vinegar diet.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Heard of that one too.
And if anybody remembers Slim Fast, a shake for breakfast, a shake for lunch, and then you have yourself a sensible dinner.
Yep.
In fact, everyone, all these ideas are not sustainable. Okay? They're not sustainable because you can't live your life this way forever. You need a little balance of everything, or you will end up just blowing up again. So just try to eat moderately,
Moderation.
moderation, and exercise. Now, what I'm doing right now is not sustainable, but I'm also doing like what's called a sacrifice as well. But yes, just eat. You can have your treats, you can have your weekend meals, but the only healthy way to do it really and to keep it off is in moderation. Is correct. What's the one I'm thinking of that has the point system? That is actually pretty good. My
Weight
wife has
Watchers?
done. Huh?
Weight
Weight
Watchers.
Watchers. That's good because you are eating pretty much anything you want. You can eat anything you want. You just count the points. But yeah, for the most part, there has been a lot of get thin quick diets, and they do not work. They are fads in and out.
Yeah.
What you got, Matt? Go ahead. I'm sorry, Bryant.
I was gonna say, as someone who tried to do the Slim Fast diet before, it is not fun. I
No,
will agree on that. It is terrible. So
it's not enough.
no, it's not.
You're not
It is.
full after that shake, which you hope you are.
Yeah,
You're
the
not.
shake is supposed to make you full, and all it does is just quells it, and then just makes it worse for later.
In 20 minutes, you're hungry.
Yes.
In 5
Yeah.
minutes, you're hungry. You can eat. That could be your drink.
Mhm.
It's not realistic.
No, not at all.
And I don't know how sensible that dinner is.
It
That's
never is
a very
sensible.
broad subject, a very
Yeah.
broad
It's
thing to say. I
it's
mean,
not. I'll promise you that. So
Did you guys ever do like a juicing fast? I did that
like a
once.
have.
juice cleanse?
Yeah, maybe that's called that. I think I drank a juice for like 48 hours and that was it. Like I wasn't allowed to eat any food. It was just
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
it's I think the point of it is a cleanse and you might drop like 5 pounds in like 2 days, which which does not sound very healthy.
No, it
Of
is
course
not.
not.
But what's
Yeah.
your fat in and out, Madam?
Well, this is not my favorite category. Sorry. I'm going to run out of these very quickly. But I experienced this as a child. Slap bracelets. Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
Slap bracelets was a fad amongst middle school and elementary school children in the early 90s, which that is me. It was available in a wide variety of patterns and colors, but ultimately they started to become banned in schools following reports of injuries. Well, what were slap bracelets? Well, picture a 10-inch long piece of a metal tape measure that can be stiff like a tape measure and can also, when impacted on your wrist, wrap around your wrist. So we were very slap happy, and I remember there was lots of different designs and stuff, and everybody had them. And then I remember we weren't allowed to have them, so everybody was sneaking them. And then, of course, nobody gave a shit about them because they were only popular for a brief while. But whoever made them probably made a buck in the moment, and then it was gone.
Poof. I didn't get involved in them.
Yeah, I mean, you're much older than me.
7 years.
Okay.
No, six
uh,
years.
I did. I got into them. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I was tempted to buy a slap bracelet the other day when I was at Walmart.
Well, they're available now.
Yeah, but
Making a
this is
comeback.
but this is also for the nerd aspect in me because they're WWE title belts, slap bracelets.
Whoa. Now, okay.
So
That actually sounds interesting.
yeah, they're available at your local Walmart. Yeah, you can get like the WWE title, the world title,
Mhm.
US, Intercontinental, all those. Yeah, they're slap bracelets though.
We didn't really have Walmart like as a regular thing my whole life. It's only been the last decade where there's like Walmarts everywhere here.
Mm.
I was pretty young. When we had a Walmart. It
Yeah.
wasn't a super Walmart. It was just a
The
Walmart.
super centers are what really has been taking off.
Yeah.
But there's always been Walmart.
Yeah. You know what we didn't have either really until recent years was Chick-fil-A, which I love. We did not have
Good.
Chick-fil-A. This could be a whole other episode here, guys.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, I'm kind of stole your category today, but you can go ahead with your rotten eggs.
This is also the first time I'm closing out the show a little bit here, so kind of new charting, new territory for me here.
Oh, SNL category.
Yeah. So rotten eggs, bad experiences. I don't think I'm gonna top Brad's, but so we have a eating establishment here in my town. For sake of protecting the business, we'll just call it Cane's Raising. How about that? And my wife and I would like to go there for lunch. One of these particular days we went, food was awful. Like you could tell that like they were just rushing food out, wasn't cooked, just totally turned my wife off. She was like, "I'm done with this place. I don't want to come back." I'm like, "Well, we gotta go back. It's like it's been our place. We just gotta do it." So we decided to go back one more time, which leads to the bad experience. As we're going, we get our food, we go sit down, and my wife is just instantly like, she just doesn't like the food. It's just bad. It's not done right. And as I'm grabbing they're famous for strips of chicken, as we'll call them, to protect their identity. I grab my strip of chicken and I go, yeah, they didn't even cook this properly. Look, you can still see the pepper in it. And then I look at that piece of pepper and realize it was a fly. And they had cooked the fly in the breading and then just the chicken in the and cooked it with my chicken. And naturally, as me, I just wanted to throw the food away because that's what and just leave. My wife, nah, we don't end it right there. So naturally, she takes it up to the counter and just bams it on the counter and goes, "What the F is this?" And at this point, now I'm trying to also get her out of the restaurant because she's causing, we're going to call it a scene, I guess. at this point, as she's screaming about how they just cook flies in all of their chicken, and it should just be called, they should just be selling flies instead of their chicken because that's all they can really do. So I don't know if you call that a bad experience or a bad time, but
Yeah.
something that I would just kind of put in that category a little bit.
So I can sympathize with the wife situation. My wife does not let anything go as well.
Okay.
Even though I just want to leave, she
Mhm.
has to make a scene and gets free food normally because of it. But she's not trying to get free food. She's just genuinely upset, and someone has to know about it.
Hmm.
Brian, I don't know if you remember a story I told on the Kickout Crew from when I was at WrestleMania when I went to Wendy's and I bit into the
Yes.
chicken sandwich and it was raw in the middle.
Yep.
And I have not had Wendy's since because I didn't even know if I was going to make it that night. You're eating raw chicken. I don't
Yeah.
know. And I threw it away. Did not eat it. Did not go back.
This is bad food stories is really upsetting for me. Did you actually question if this was worthy of the rotten eggs category? Yeah, I would say so. Uh, I tell you what, the next time I'm assigned the rotten eggs category, I'm just going to tell a story about how Bryant told me a story about his bad food. That's how bad I feel right now from just hearing about it.
Yeah, it makes my stomach turn.
Yeah.
Oh,
It really does make my
that's
Yeah.
stomach
all. And this will shock nobody, but in my relationship, I'm the one who doesn't let it go when my wife wants to just move on with our
Well, as
life.
someone that works in a restaurant, I can understand why she doesn't want
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
No, not just isolated to restaurant incidents.
Mm.
All aspects of life.
I'm not interested in confrontations. I'm not interested in
Yeah, I
being an
mean,
asshole.
yeah, like if we can go, like I'm just looking at her like we can just go. Like we
I
don't have
got
to come
about a
back
hundred
now.
of these stories about my wife. I'm telling you,
There's
where I've
something
been so
related to
uncomfortable.
the salesman-y in you where you don't want to upset somebody. What if they walk into your dealership the next day looking to buy a car?
Perfect. I didn't yell at them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
exactly.
Ugh,
All right.
now I feel ugh. What? Good thing we laughed a few times in this episode because there was some real downer shit in here too.
So that's another great episode in the books. Matt, why don't you hit us with the socials?
Uh-oh, I don't have the script open.
You should know
My
it by now.
How
time.
do you not have it down by memory by this point?
You mean like this? Hey guys, we are three eggs are better than one, and we are cooking up every Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Find us on YouTube at Three Eggs Are Better Than One, the number three, the letter R, the number one. Follow us on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at Three Eggs Are Better, the number three, the letter R. Also at Yes Man Brad, at B Haremza, and I am at Purple Shirt Guy without the I. How about some 5-star reviews, guys? I don't know if we've had enough of those, but you know what? I'll take a 4-star review. How about that? That's easy. You don't even have to reach all the way to that whole side of the screen. Force closer to where your finger already is.
So, Brian, why don't you let us know what we're doing next week and take us home?
Well, I had an idea in mind, but now, after listening to this episode, I'm completely changing it. You see, Matt brought up a topic of, the fear of the number 13. Well, I dabbled in this thing called college a long time ago, and one of my favorite papers I ever wrote was on phobias and how many there are and how wide they spread and our span, I should say. So I'm going to change my topic to that now. And next week, I'm going to introduce you to some phobias that you might not know has existed before.
Sounds
Love
good, man.
this. Love it. Love it.
So, on that note, as Matt said, we are three eggs are better than one. We thank you for joining us. We hope you learned some birthday knowledge, and we thank you for joining us. Like Matt said, we'll take some 4-star reviews. Whatever you want to do, spread the word, share us out there. Thank you for joining us. The egg timer's been set. We'll see you guys next week.